Hey, this is Miko. We're gonna do a quick video. We're gonna compare Hyundai Tucson. This is the SE trim that we happen to have. It's a brand new 2022, and we're gonna compare it to Nissan Rogue, which kind of like the comparable car that we just have available. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna look around this car. We're gonna step outside, look at the trunk, look at the rear seat. We're gonna do the same on the other one. Then we're gonna drive this one around the block, and we'll drive the Nissan Rogue, so you'll be able to see how these cars compare in real life situation. So first of all, this is pretty much like my second time in this car, the Hyundai Tucson. Seats are fairly comfortable. These are cloth seats. There's not a lot of like a bolster support. There is lumbar support, so these are pretty good seats. The steering wheel both tilts, and it's telescopic, so that's fairly comfortable. Elbow position is fairly good. The shifter, I can tell this is like the old school mechanical shifter, not a big deal. Screen layout is pretty comfortable, looks really well. The only thing that's a little confusing, the AC controls, there's no auto climate control, it's just manual. And this one has the heated seats, but the controls are here. So, you know, not a big deal, but just a little bit weird. All right, let's step outside, we'll look at the rear seat and the trunk. All right. Rear seat, the door opens pretty wide, so that's comfortable, especially if you have kids. Child seat to put in. Good room in the back. There's an adjustment for this seat, so I guess this is where I can fold it, but I also can change the angle. There's a little bit of a bump in the middle, but looks like it's not too bad for 3 people in the back. There are USB outlets, and there are climate control outlets in the back. No moonroof, no sunroof. Again, not a big deal. Let's look at the trunk. Okay, good sized trunk, fairly deep. This is kind of like in the middle, the privacy cover. I'm sure we can take it out if we had to get more room. Covers everything you have, but there's like a little bit of an opening, I guess because of the rear seat that moves back and forth. If we open this is where the spare is, so not a lot of storage there, but decent sized trunk. And let's just see what happens if we won't fold the seat. Okay, so stay here, take a look. I want to see how flat it goes. Okay, so that's as flat as it goes. You know, manageable, not a big deal, pretty good. All right, let's look at the position in the, let's start with the rear seat on this car. Okay, so also opens wide, which is again, it's important when you have the child seat to put in, and just for ease of access. Good room, no problem here. So really comfortable, pretty much the same. Outlets in the back, USB controls are here. That's pretty much the same. There's no adjustment for this seat, so I guess it either folds or doesn't fold, and cannot play with this. The seat feels a little bit more comfortable. There's like a little bit more support, and also kind of like design fake leather, a little bit cloth here, so a little bit different. Let's look at the trunk of this one. All right, so same idea. Seats split 60-40. You can fold, you just fold them from here. Same idea here, that's where the spare is. Nothing else is here. Looks pretty comparable. This car is longer, so it'll make sense that it has a little bit longer trunk space, but then it comes on account of the parking, you know, how easy it would be to park. Let's see. Okay, let's fold the seat just to see what it looks like. Alright, so you see it folds automatically pretty flat. That's basically it. Alright. So that's done. And now we're gonna take the Hyundai and we're gonna take it on the quick test drive. the camera come up. It shows the adjustment, what happens when you turn the steering wheel. Car is fairly quiet. There's a nice bump. Let's see how it feels on the bump. Pretty good. Steering is responsive. Let's get this away so it doesn't make any noise. Alright, so pretty much all new cars have different driving modes. Right now we're in normal mode. It struggles a little bit for acceleration, gets a little loud, but you get good speed. So we got up to about 45 miles an hour. And we're going to test the braking just to see how it goes. Once we go to the red light, I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive with the braking. I'll come into the stop a little bit hot. Going about 30, 35, hit the brakes. Okay, good braking, absolutely no complaints. And let's try the sport mode. Okay, it gets really loud. I don't get a lot of response, not a big difference, it just gets really loud. Let's try again. So accelerating into the turn feels pretty good. Again, no complaints about steering. Responsive, pretty intuitive. Just the sport mode, it's kind of loud. So I'll go back to normal. Again, give it a little push. So again, you can hear for yourself how loud it is, and we're back. So it should be easy to compare it to the Nissan Rogue in terms of the comfort and the quietness. All right. And let's jump into the Rogue and try that out. So in terms of the expectations on the Rogue, it has less horsepower, so we have to take this into account. It has the different shifter, so that's like a drive-by-wire electronic shifter, which means that when you want to put it to park, you really don't need to shift, just push the button. Or if you leave the car and drive or reverse, push the stop button, it will go into park. So same thing, we're gonna pay attention to the steering right now. No complaints about the steering. Sounds about the same. Noise level is about the same, pretty quiet. And these cars are known, this is the CVT transmission, continuously variable, which is smoother, gives you smoother acceleration, which we're going to test. Alright, so it gets up to speed. At least it feels like much faster. I cannot go fast because there's a car in front of us, but it's smoother, more responsive. It still gets loud, but not as loud as the Hyundai. Steering is responsive, and we're going to try the braking on the light. Going in about 40. Solid braking, no complaints. And on the way back, let's change it to the sport mode. See what happens. Okay, so also gets louder, but you do get different response from the car. Whatever they're doing, it actually changes how the car feels. And I'm just behind a couple of cars. We'll get up front and get it going. So you can see this one has the dual zone climate control. The start button is in a different location, so let's a little bit weird for me. You know, it's not the traditional location and not under your hand, but doable. It has the auto hold feature. I'm gonna let this guy through. It's got more information on the driver display. Not a big difference. All right, so we're gonna try real acceleration in sport mode. It's almost 60 miles per hour. So still, I mean, you can hear everything. You can see how fast the car gets going. It is smoother, definitely feels smoother. Hard to say on the power. It shows on paper less horsepower, but I didn't have any trouble accelerating to 60 miles an hour. Alright, so that's basically it. Both solid cars, you know, comparable. Right now, what's going on with the car market, these cars are much more available. They're lease special, so that's, you know, neither here nor there. That might change in a few months, but right now you can get, if you cannot get, you know, one of the cars that are on the top of the list for everybody, you can get these cars, and that's a good alternative. And that's it. Thanks for watching.